Check, check. Yeah, yeah. Alrighty now. It's your boy Jones the Great, aka Auntie's favorite, back at it again with another podcast. We are on episode 12 of Generation Genius. I've been doing this for about 2 months now, I think, or almost 3 months. I don't even know, bro. I don't even keep track. I just drop them. Anyway, we're back at it again. So, I didn't really have a topic for this podcast, but I had to make one on the fly. So, I guess let's just talk about something that's been on my mind for a little bit, and that is mental health. And not in a cliche way, but just like throughout this whole quarantine and throughout this whole just us being in the house for 24/7, I just thought I would hit us with some not mental health facts, just like my thoughts on mental health as a whole, as far as not only being a creative, but sometimes feeling like we're overworking ourselves and feeling like we're not going to get to be where we want to be. And I stress mental health right now. It's because I feel like we are in such that time where, like people are even more depressed. People are dealing with their own situations at home. People that aren't used to being inside are now inside. And just mental health as a whole in general, I wanted to talk about today. So with that being said, I thought I would like to touch on how it can be very dangerous to overwork yourself. And I feel like that's kind of on the rest in peace. That's kind of like on the flip side of the Kobe Mamba mentality. But I think having the Mamba mentality means, yes, you wake up earlier and get the work done because the early bird catches the worm. But I think it could be very unhealthy to overwork yourself to the point where it's starting to deter your work and how good you actually are becoming at something. And I think as creatives and as people who want a certain goal, it's very, very important to grind and go in and work at it for hours. But when you reach that peak of being tired and almost feeling burnt out, that's that dangerous line where it's like, yo, I might actually want to stop this because I don't know if I should continue doing this, if it's affecting my mental, affecting my physical. And that's like such a weird line I'm learning. The line between growth and overworking. It's like it almost kind of meets in the middle where it's almost like the same thing where like the famous saying is no pain. The famous saying is no pain, no gain. But you start to realize that within the midst of that, am I really growing because I'm overly working? Or I feel like when it comes to you protecting your mental and your physical, you have to work yourself, but you, one, shouldn't overwork yourself, and two, you shouldn't reach that point of burnout. And I think that burnout happens when you've been grinding at something for a long time and you feel like it's not working. I don't think that's burnout though. I think burnout is when you're overly doing something and it just becomes like a job to you. Like, I've been working at this music for years, it's not working. I've been working on this YouTube channel for years, it's not working. And I feel like sometimes too, we mistake that we are growing. We're definitely growing. You're definitely growing as a human and a creative when you are working hard at something and you see the growth. I feel like it's very important to work at something because you want to work at it and not to work for something because you want the credit and validation of other people. And that's where kind of just having your gifts and wanting to be, like, let's say anything you want to be, I feel like you first have to sit down with yourself and be like, do I really want to do this? Am I really ready? Am I really ready to go through the work, sweat, and tears to get to where I want to be with this as a dream? And that's like the first step right there. It's like, okay, word, now I have this dream and I want to get to where I'm going because I have the dream and I have the forefront and I know exactly what I'm doing. I have the vision. But after that, you have to put the work in and work yourself really, really hard. But I feel like when you're working at anything, even when it comes to school, like if you really want that bachelor's and you really want to go for it, I think that you go for it and work your butt off, but don't overstudy yourself and overcram yourself, and then you hit that point, it's like, forget this, I give up on it completely. Because that's like such a dangerous line that we've all been through. I've done it a billion times where like I really, really want something, and then I reach like that 12th hour of doing it straight, and I'm like, yo, forget this, bro. Nobody's listening to what I'm doing. Nobody's watching what I'm doing. Nobody's giving me the validation I need. But then I had to realize, why do I need other people's validation for something that I love? And that is probably mostly where the burnout comes in. Is like you work at it so hard. You work at anything you want to do. You work at it so hard that you're just like, ugh, now I'm burnt out. and now I'm burnt out. I think that if you truly, truly, truly love something, yeah, you can get burnt out physically and your mental may go crazy, but if you truly love something, don't seek the validation from other people because that validation will never ever come. Like even your closest friends and family members, they can see what you're doing and never give you that validation. But you have to be willing to accept that because it's very it's very, 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 very annoying to be working your butt off for something and just not getting that validation for it. I was watching this really good movie yesterday. I forgot what it's called. This is a good movie about this dude. He wants to be a sommelier. He wants to be a sommelier and he wants to like smell wines and be like a sommelier in a restaurant owner and he wants to sell wine. His dad owns a rib shop or like a barbecue shop in Memphis and his dad is like really wants him to like, here you go, so I don't want to give you this. I want to give you this restaurant. So I'm not gonna ruin the movie for you guys, but long story short, he does not want that restaurant. He's like, yo, my dad's giving me this restaurant on a pedestal. He's like, I want to give it to you when you leave, son, blah, blah, blah. He's like, nah, dad, I want to be a sommelier and I want to travel the world and I want to do this with wine, blah, 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 blah. And his dad was not for that dream at all. But throughout the whole movie, you see that he did not give up on wanting to be a sommelier. I hope I'm saying that right. But anyway, that just shows you that even though his dad didn't support what he was doing, it's just like, bro, that doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, you're my father and I love you and I'm going to respect you, but I cannot do this regular. I cannot do this regular when I really have this thing I'm pursuing and want to go for. So with that being said, I feel like you have to be very driven when it comes to anything you want to accomplish. But with being driven, you also want to make sure that you don't burn yourself out or get really tired. But everybody's going to go through burnout, though. Burnout is like a regular thing. But within that burnout, though, you want to make sure that if you literally are done for the night, be done for the night. Don't keep like, yeah, I got to stay up. Because I used to be team no sleep for like the longest time. Just like running on like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And then basically like 2019 into 2020, or basically 2019 and 2020, I was 2019 I was like, yeah, team no sleep. And then like 2019 I was like, yo, forget this, bro. Like the end of 2018 and 2019 I was like, yo, bro, I'm going to bed, bro. Like if it's gonna work, it's gonna work, God willing. And if it's not gonna work, I can just do something else. Because this getting 4 hours of sleep and then having to operate another day of work or being in class, I was like, nah, this is not going to sleep. It's not gonna work for me. So what I had to start doing was some nights you definitely have those modes where you look at the clock and like, oh, it's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I should probably go to sleep. And then other nights, if you have to wake up for work the next day, man, just go to bed. Because that team no sleep era is over. Work your butt off, but shoot, if you gotta go to sleep, get your chamomile tea with a little bit of vanilla, put that honey up in that bad boy and go to sleep, because that team no sleep is so played out. And on top of there being team no sleep, it's like you can keep running the marathon. Run the marathon, don't run the sprint. That is something that I learned from Nipsey. Rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. That's like the biggest thing ever. If you didn't listen to Nipsey's music, definitely his mantra was crazy. It was just like, feed your streets, have ownership, but above all else, run the marathon, not the sprint. And with that being said, when you run the sprint, it's like that short-term game. It's like, yeah, I'm going to get this quick little bag over here. I'm going to get that quick little bag over there. I'm going to do this over here. I'm going to do that over there. And then you're very short-stopping yourself instead of thinking like, you got to really think like 5 to 10 years down the line, as opposed to like a year, 2 years down the line, because a lot of things really can't be accomplished in a year. Like, you have to kind of like have this, what's that word I'm looking to say? Lay a brick a day. That's what it is. I feel like I definitely learned that from Nipsey, especially when I first started making music and just I'd really, really tapped into like being a creative. I've always been creative, but at least like when I hit 20 and I'd heard Nipsey's mixtape and I was like, bro, who is this dude? Like I'm enticed. Like his interviews, he's like on a whole nother level when it comes to like business. He reminded me a lot of Jay-Z's. He's like basically like Jay-Z's older than us, but we all still love Jay-Z. But I feel like Nipsey was like our like the more youthful Jay-Z, I guess you could say. Yeah, I'll say that. Like, he was a more youthful. Like, everybody was, you just saw him capture. Even if you didn't listen to his music at all, you listen to his interviews and he just talking, just dropping gem after gem after gem after gem. And you're just like, bro, this dude is a genius. And I feel like that is probably one of the most important things is even though he's not alive anymore, he left like that. He left like that, he left that mantra and the marathon continues mentality. And I feel like that's definitely the mentality that I strive for and the mentality that especially a person of color, should strive for, because that marathon mentality is so important because you could apply it to anything. Like school, when it comes to college takes 4 to 6 years depending on what you want to do. And I feel like a lot of people get super, super burnt out because they're going overboard with the studying, or they're going overboard with just everything, just like you're cramming and you're going really fast. But there's like two forms of studying though, because you got the studying where like you study out for weeks ahead, and then you got the cheating kind of studying where well, my test is tomorrow, so I might as well just like cram, which could work. I mean, sure, if you want to cramming works for some people, you know what I'm saying? But that could be applied to anything though. It's like if it's in front of you, and you want to work for it, I feel like everybody wants it super, 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 super fast. But then over time you realize like, yeah, you know what? Hold on, let me backtrack a little bit because I got this too fast, and now I don't get to enjoy it as much. It's like everybody wants that record deal. Like, everybody, if college is like, here, we want to give you a degree right now. All you gotta do is take this test of all the knowledge you've learned over time, and you're gonna be like, hold up, I probably should have planned out these next 3 years. But that's a marathon mentality. Like, I feel like I feel like you have to get to that point. You have to you have to run the marathon, not the sprint, because it's like, life is great for sure. And everybody is blessed to be on earth. You already kind of made it. You're like 1 in a trillion anyway. So with that being said, you really, really should get to the bag, but don't overwork yourself or destroy your brain mentally to get it, because that's going to kill you. It's like, don't seek that validation. 1 and 2, pace. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to get out of here. If you're watching the visual version of this, make sure you click the podcast and go see that. And if you're listening to the audio version of this, check out my other videos on my YouTube channel. It's been your boy Jones, aka Auntie's Favorite, aka Mac Daddy Jr. I'll see you guys later.